Welcome to the back series. With this series, there are a number of different positions that it can be performed within, so we're going to go through that first, and here we get to use our prop, the box. So in the manual, I go through in detail what long box and short box is, but we're going to go through that now. Now we're going to be facing the pulleys, which is towards the back of the machine, okay? So when you would use the box would be for people that are older and have injuries with their knees, someone that is pregnant, someone where it's their first time to Pilates, they're a bit fatigued and their balance isn't very good, so you can easily pop them on the box and they can focus on just the back rather than their core. So when you're sitting on the box facing that way doing the arm work, you're just focusing on the back, whereas you can also kneel against the shoulder rest, which then uses your core. So I'm going to show you on the box first, and then we'll get rid of it and we'll perform the rest of the series on our knees. But remember that the box is always a great option. So this is long box and this is short box. For the back series, you always want to have the long box because you're going to be pressing your arms back, and if it is in the short box where it can get in the way. Whereas when we do later our chest series, I often have it in a short box because we're facing that way and we need it like that for stability. So when sitting on the box, make sure the headrest is flat. You always cue them, sit on the box first and then swing your feet around. In this series as well, some people perform the exercise with the straps uncrossed. However, in my course, I like to teach you to have the straps crossed in an X formation because I feel like it activates the muscles more correctly and it stops you from using your upper traps so much. I'm going to move the pulleys and pull on the ropes, and you'll see that the platform is going to move. So that's something not to be startled by, but it can happen when you have the long box. So if I push my hands back, it'll do that sometimes, but then it will stop doing that. So this is the back series, sitting on the box, facing forward. You can either have your straps uncrossed or you can have your straps crossed, which I prefer. It also makes it a little bit more resistance, so therefore a little bit harder. Remember, we've got the options of the D-links, the short straps, and the long straps. So the further I go back, the less resistance there is. So my usual cue for instructing the back series is sit on the box or kneel on your knees, we're facing the back. I want you to get your straps, cross them over, and I often say 2 fingers in the D-links, chin tucked, shoulders down and back, core on. Otherwise, if they want an easier option, you can tell them, go into the short straps to make it easier or uncross your straps. And if that is still too hard, you can either change their springs or they can even go in the long loops. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing before we get stuck into the exercises. So if we take our box off, you've got 2 positions. You've got a low kneel, which is often hard for people with osteoarthritis, so they're the ones you would get on the box. Pregnant ladies, often in their 3rd trimester because they're swollen and they can get a little bit uncomfortable like this. If you do, however, have a young and fit person and it's their first time to Pilates, I would get them in this position because they can learn the exercises without having to use their core too much. Once they are in the low kneel position and they're comfortable with that, then they can actually come up into a high kneel. Now, this is something you want to be really careful with, and I always stress this to someone when they first come to class. I say, you'll feel like you're really strong, but I need you to perform the exercise slowly because lots of people fall forward. So if I'm up like this and I throw my arms back, it's quite easy for me to fall forward. So I would get them to start in a low kneel so they get used to the movement. Then I let them come up into a high kneel, and you need core switched on. and you're thinking about engaging your core the whole time, and you want constant tension on the ropes. So the exercises should look slow and controlled like this. You don't want to ever have slack in the rope, because then that's when they can fall. So just an overview, you have 3 positions you can pick from: low kneel, high kneel, or on the box. And then with the straps, you can have uncrossed, which makes it a little bit easier, but I don't feel like it has the correct muscle activation, versus crossed. I much prefer it crossed. So you will see through the manual, I've written in the cueing formula to cross the straps in an X formation, and that is what I mean. Let's get stuck into the exercises.